Hello history lovers, I am the Walking Warrior and welcome to my channel. Now today I've got a really good one for you. If you love these old mill chimneys and stuff, you're going to love this one because this is one of the best ones I've ever seen, this one. So I'm in a little place called Horton, Kirby, which is about a 20-minute drive from the Dartford Tunnel, if you know where that is. And this one, if you're into things like this one really is worth coming to see because it is absolutely fantastic, this chimney. So I'm just walking up to it at the minute and then it will appear in front of you. And this is a really nice one. So I was back out here the other day. If you watched the video, I done the viaduct up the road. So I'm back today doing this lovely chimney. Now look at that appearing in front of you, and it'll keep going for a while because this thing is really tall. And wait till the camera gets on the top of it. This thing is absolutely lovely, a proper work of art built back in the day by real craftsmen. And the buildings you can see round it, they are part of the old mill. Now they've all been done up and it has all been converted into flats and that round here, but they have kept the chimney, which is great because it would have been a real tragedy if this one was pulled down, because just look at it, this thing is absolutely fantastic and really tall. So it has become a bit of a landmark round here, this chimney, because it is so tall. You can see it from miles around this chimney. On a clear day you can spot this chimney from miles away. So it's not that hard to find if you did want to come and see this magnificent piece of engineering. You just literally drive to a little place called Horton, Kirby. Like I said, it's about 20 minutes from the Dartford Tunnel. And when you drive into Horton, Kirby, this magnificent chimney will just appear because it's so tall and there's not a lot else round here. So you can see this. It's right near the viaduct that I done the other day. So you can have a little mooch round the viaduct and then wander up to this chimney and have a little look round. And the old mill, it's nice, the old mill, you can walk round that. I'm not going to do it today because my camera will cut out. I need to get another battery, but I will come back here another day and do a little bit round the mill buildings and that, because a lot of them are still here. And this is a massive mill. Well, as you can see, it would have been a big mill for the size of this chimney. So this was a really big enterprise going near the mill, making loads of stuff. So as you can see, just look at all them crafted bits of stone round there that the old stonemasons have done. This is like a no expense spared build. When this was built, the people that own this mill would have been making a ton of money. So they had this chimney built and they wouldn't have cared how much it cost. They just wanted it to be fancy. And they just wanted it to be better than the chimney that anyone else had on their mill. Because I think a lot of this, like these old works of art, the chimneys and all that, a lot of it was showing off. Look at what we can build. Look how magnificent our chimney is. Because it's only a chimney, there is no need to make it look as fancy as it does. But I think it was partly like a show-off thing, wasn't it? My chimney is bigger and better than your chimney. So I think there was a bit of that going on, because you could have just built this thing round, straight up, like a normal chimney. It would work exactly the same and have been a hell of a lot cheaper to have built. But no, they went all out, got a designer in, architect, all that, got some really magnificent builders in to build this thing, and it was a bit about showing off. Look at my chimney. And I'm glad they did that though, because some of these old chimneys that still survive are absolutely fantastic, and this is one of them. Now I know when it was been built, it wouldn't have had the metal straps round it. They've been put on later to like hold it together. When this thing was new, them black straps would have not have been round it. This thing would have just been standing on its own, purely made out of brick. And what brickwork it is, just look at that brickwork. The brickies that done this was absolute proper craftsmen, because this thing is fantastic, the brickwork on this. It really is. It really is worth coming to see this one. If you're like into things like this, like I am, if you're in this area, it's worth coming to see this, because like the camera and the video on the YouTube is not going to do this justice. Although you'll see it on here, it looks really nice. If you came here and walked up to this thing, you would be surprised just how big this chimney is. It is absolutely massive and really nice. It's really like spectacular. The brickwork on it is like perfect. You can't see any flaws on it, anything like that. This thing is just fantastic, and it must have took a long time to build this. There must be a hell of a lot of bricks in that. So building that would have been a bit of a feat of engineering, because you wouldn't have had scaffolding and that, not like the metal scaffolding like what we know. That would have probably had like a wooden structure built up it, so they would have started at the bottom, and as the bricklayers went up and the hod carriers started going up, carrying the bricks and the cement, it would have had a wooden frame going round it with little wooden staircases, and it would have got taller and taller and taller. So when you got to the top, if you had a little wooden frame built right up this thing, oh, it must have been a bit scary being up the top. Well, it would have been for me. I'm not that good on heights, so I would not have wanted to have been up the top of this on a rickety old wooden structure carrying bricks about. No way. That would have been really dangerous. So I take my hat off to the people that built this. They obviously had no fear of heights and just got on with it and just done a really lovely job of it. And I bet they was proud of this when it was finished. I bet they all stood back and looked at that and was really proud, because it is magnificent, this thing. It's up there with any brick building you will ever see, this chimney. It really is something special. And I'm glad it's been saved, because they could have pulled this down. A lot of them have been pulled down. Like when I was a kid, there was quite a lot of these. Alright, not as fancy as this one, but in the like town I grew up in, had an industrial place, and there was quite a lot of these old mill chimneys on it and factory chimneys. And when I was a kid, we knew when they was getting pulled down, because it would be in the paper or someone would tell you. So I used to go with my granddad. We'd go and watch them come down, and it was such a tragedy to watch the big magnificent chimneys get tumbled. It really was. Just so someone could build some flats or do something like that. But you could have done like what they done here. You could have kept the chimney as part of a feature, in with the flats and all that. So let's go and say hello to this lovely chimney. Now I'm near it, close enough to say hello. Hello, chimney. You are magnificent, mate, and I'm glad you didn't get tumbled down. I'm glad you are still here, because I've really enjoyed coming to see you. You are fantastic. So just look up there, look how tall this thing is. Absolutely stunning this is. Just keeps going and going. Look at that. That is magnificent. Stand at the bottom of this, you realise how small you are. Look at that. Keeps going and going and going. Really nice, really fancy, really lovely, this old chimney. And I did like, as a kid, I watched some, alright, maybe not as nice as this, but up there, I really did have some nice ones in the town. I remember them when I was a kid, big massive ones like this with all the stonework and all that. And they just got tumbled. So they should have been kept, them ones that was tumbled down. It was a real shame that they come down, because there really was quite a few where I grew up, and there is none now. They have all gone. and there is all flats and all that, when the chimneys could have been kept amongst all them flats, but people just wanted to earn money, so it was just tumble the chimney, get it out of the way, let's build some flats, fill my bank account up, and then we'll move on and knock down the next chimney. So that's a shame. Them people should be ashamed of themselves who've done that, 'cause they just wiped out a load of our lovely old industrial history and heritage just so they could earn a pound note, and that really is bad. Them chimneys should have been kept. But I'm glad this one has survived, and it will survive. This is listed now, so this will be here forever, this chimney. So it's a really good thing. This chimney has been saved. So as you can see, I'm round the other side now of the chimney, so let's have a look at this side. So it just keeps going, this chimney, and that brickwork is lovely, with the way them two bits are just set back a little bit, just giving it that detail on the sides. Really lovely, and then when you get to the top, that is really fancy up there. Really is a lot of effort gone into making the top of this chimney look really nice. So it's got all the like corbels round it, all carved, all made of stone, and there was no need for none of that. And look at the details above the little like windows, the little archways and the little stone capstones and all that. Oh yeah, this thing really is nice. Whoever designed this really done a good job, because it does look good, this one. And there's no need to have made the top like that. It was just showing off, really. Look at my chimney, it's better than your chimney. But I'm glad they done that, innit? Because now, like, something like this, you don't see this no more. No one will ever build anything as fancy as these old buildings no more, because it would cost too much money. People just want to build on the cheap and earn profit. They're not interested in making something look fantastic for everyone to look at. They just want to do it on the cheap, make as much money as they can, move on to the next one. So things like this should be saved. Whoever put the old grade 2 listing on this was a very nice man or lady. They done a good service to all us lot who love things like this, because they basically put that listing on this and went, right, no one is ever knocking that down. No greedy bigwig is ever pulling that down to fill up their bank account, so it will stay there forever. It's a shame people didn't do that with more of them, because a lot of these was tumbled. Some nice ones as well. When you go through like online and that, and you look at like ones that have been pulled down, some of them probably was nicer than this, more fancy than this, and they was tumbled so someone could just earn a bit of money, desperate for a pound note to pull down the chimney. And that's bad, because them people, they had no respect for our history, they had no respect for the lovely craftsmen that built all these magnificent chimneys, they had no respect for the British history, no respect for nothing. They was just greedy for a pound note, and them people will go to hell, because they done a terrible thing. But not here. Whoever done this here done a lovely job, because they've saved like the whole mill complex here. It's really nice what they've done here. They should have done this elsewhere rather than just flattening it all and building them horrible modern flats that in about 20 years time will just look terrible. So they got rid of things like this to just put up them horrible blocks of flats to maximise profits. But not here. They've saved the whole mill complex here. It's really nice. I know they've turned it into flats and all that, but what else would you do with it? You can't have something like this just sitting empty. It will just deteriorate. It needs looking after. No one wants to run this as a mill anymore. No one wants to like have this as a factory. It's too old. It would need too much maintenance and that. So no one really wants this. So turning it into like flats and stuff for people to live in is really all you can do with it. So I really like what the people have done here. Whoever worked on this and designed this really liked our old history and all that, because this place has been done really well. They've kept all the mill buildings, turned them all into flats and that, kept the chimney. It's been done really nice, this has. It really is. I bet if you live on this little estate here, you really enjoy living in this mill complex. I think I'd like to live here. It's really nice. All that history right on your doorstep. And it looks really nice as well. 'Cause them like modern flats and that people build, I wouldn't want to live in one of them. That'd be my worst nightmare, living in them horrible modern flats. But here is really nice what they've done. So I take my hat off to the people that done this mill complex here. They really done a good job, and they've like made it really nice, restored it all. It's absolutely lovely what they've done here. More people should come down here and look at what's been done to this old mill before they sign the dreaded bit of paper and wipe out a ton of history that is standing in our town. When there is probably lots of old factories and like mills and that kicking about in England that could have this sort of restoration done to them, and then they'd be turned into a really lovely place for people to live and look after, and they'd be here forever, because after all they are like our history. They was like the backbone of England, these mills and all that. That's what made England great, all this. Now it's all gone and people forget about it. They don't really care about it. They just want to move on, earn money. And that's a shame, because you should be saving all this stuff, because a lot of it is magnificent and it only needs restoration. You could turn it into flats. It would be absolutely lovely. It's like a nice thing to do in your town, but people don't want to do that. It's cheaper, innit, to flatten it and just build something horrible and modern. Well, not all that modern stuff's horrible. Some of it's quite nice, but a lot of it is just horrible, innit? Compared to what, like, if you came down here and look at this, no modern flats or anything. It's anywhere near as nice as this mill complex. It's lovely what they've done here. Why they've saved it all, kept it as it was, just restored it all. Obviously inside, I haven't been inside none of it. It's all going to be turned into nice big flats and all that. But the outsides of the buildings have been kept, and this was a really big mill here, so there's a lot of buildings here all been turned into like flats or houses or whatever, and it's a really nice job they've done here. I like this. I like what they've done. More people should do it like this in their town rather than just wipe out their history. So what I can gather about this mill, it was first here, early 1800s. It was a corn mill on this site, and there weren't a lot round here. Horton Kirby was like a little farming village with just farms round it and that. So this mill was a corn mill, early 1800s. And then sometime in the mid 1800s, it got bought by someone else and turned into a paper mill. So it was converted into a paper mill and started expanding and expanding. And a lot of the cottages and that round here was built by the mill to house the workers of the mill, because the mill was getting busy. It was being like more and more workers needed to run it because it was expanding. So they built houses, they built a school, they built all sorts round here, the mill, for the workers. So because of this mill, Horton Kirby became like a thriving village with loads of people living here because they all worked at the mill. And then in 1880, this chimney was built. Was started being built. It was actually finished in 1881 and opened, used for the first time in 1881, and you can see the date there on the side of it. That was when it first had smoke coming out of its roof, 1881. So very old, lovely chimney, this one. So the mill, it was a really big mill here. It would have been busy, a paper mill. So this place would have been making paper for everywhere, sending paper up to London for the newspapers and all that. And like, a lot of people moved to Horton, Kirby to work at the mill because it really is a big mill, this one. When you walk round it, there is a lot of buildings here. So, like, they built all the little bits in the village, houses for the workers, school, all different bits was all built by the mill. A fire station was built by the mill, all sorts. So Horton Kirby owes its existence, really, to this old mill. Without this mill, Horton Kirby might still be a little farming village. But now it is quite a big sort of village. There's a lot going on here because of this mill. And this mill was kept going for a long, long time. From what I can make out, this mill was still making paper right up until 2003. So in 2003, the mill closed. The end of the mill, end of an era. But that mill had been going, alright, it started as a corn mill, but then became the paper mill. But that had been going almost 200 years, this mill. So a lot of history in this mill, 200 years worth of history going on here. So it's good that it has been saved, and it is good that this old chimney, built in 1881 or opened in 1881, first fired up in 1881, it's really good that it has been saved for everyone to come and see and enjoy. And if you are like me and you love these old chimneys and all the history and that, this one is worth coming to see. It's only like 20 minutes from the Dartford Tunnel, so if ever you're like going through the Dartford Tunnel, doing whatever you're doing, it's about 20 minutes away. So it's worth taking an hour out of your life to come and see this, because it is worth coming to see. If you like these sort of chimneys and that, this one is definitely a must-see one. And you get to see the viaduct up the road. There's a nice little pub up the road right underneath the viaduct, so you can go in there and have a coffee or something like that and look at the viaduct and then walk up and see this lovely chimney, because it's only just up the road and well worth coming to see. And alright, you're seeing it now on the telly, watching it on YouTube, on your phone or your computer or however you're watching it on the TV. But it's not like coming to see this thing in the flesh. This thing in the flesh is massive. So let's have a look at all the stonework a bit more up close round the top, because it's really lovely, the top of this old chimney. It really is a work of art, that top part. So as you can see, it's got all them lovely stone corbels done round it, and the two faces, like the one either side. So there's four up there. You'd call them the gargoyles or the grotesques. I think that's what you would call them. But really nice, the top of this one. All that stonework's just lovely. So it's getting a bit closer there, them faces. I'm not sure what they are meant to be. I think they just are what's called the grotesques or gargoyles. There might be another name for them, but I'm not sure. And it's got the little round bits on the corbels. Look at them all done round. There's no need for all that, but it's just them little tiny touches of detail that make this chimney look so good. Because after all, this is only a chimney, but they went all out building this thing, so that just shows how profitable this mill must have been to have built a chimney that looked as fancy as this. And just look at it, look how lovely it all is. So it's just a chimney in a little tiny village in England. But this thing, you could put this anywhere. If this was in Venice or Paris or Rome or any of them big fancy cities, this would not look out of place. This looks as good as anything they have got. It really does. So I love that about this chimney. It's all out and done. It's not in London. It's in a little village in Horton, Kirby. So that makes it more magical to me. If it was in London, yeah, go all out, show right off. But this is in a little tiny village in a bit of the middle of nowhere. So I love it for that. It's just been done so fancy, and this could go against anything around the world made of brick. anything. This could stand beside it and stand proud. It would look as good and as fancy as anything made by any bricklayer anywhere in the world. This thing is as good. So the bricklayers that made this can be proud, because they made something that's as good as anyone has ever made out of brick, and it is only a chimney, so I love it for that. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe so you can join me again. I'm off now to have a cheeky little one in the nice little pub along the road and have a little look at the viaduct. So let's go. Cheeky little one in Horton, Kirby.